Welcome back. How to stay in a calorie deficit without feeling miserable. I know it can be hard. I'm going to break it down for you in this video. See if you can relate to this question I saw online. How do you guys mentally start and stick to a calorie deficit? Food is one of the only things that makes me happy, but I need to make a serious change. What should I do? So I'm going to break that down for you in this video. My name is Reggie. I'm the founder of Fit for Freelance. I help business owners lose weight and feel their best without crash diets or guilt. I've got a Live Line Scorecards 3-minute quiz, free. Check your health habit score below and figure out personalized next best steps for you to take if you're trying to stay on a calorie deficit or live healthier in general. So the first thing I want to point out when it comes to this question, explore non-food things that make you happy. If food is one of the only things that makes you happy, then you're going to have a hard time finding other things that bring you joy and help you to feel good. So this could be a case of work with a mental health professional, or just take some time to journal, meditate, reflect on things that you enjoy, that you're thankful for, that make you happy, that aren't food. Because if you are in the belief, or you are speaking as though food is the only thing that makes you happy, then you're going to be missing a lot of opportunities that aren't food that are joy, and you're going to be reliant on food for that same joy. So that's going to submarine pretty much all of your calorie deficit goals, because you are outsourcing your happiness to an item that's beyond you. But I won't get too far into that. That's the first point I want to make. Explore non-food things that make you happy. The Live Align method is my way of making your joy kind of like your source for everything, and then you can make choices that match that. You're building that up. So usually we're focused on vision, focus, and practice in that order. But in this video, I'm going to work backwards with you so you can start with wanting to stay in a calorie deficit. So practice, what makes staying in a calorie deficit difficult for you? What makes it hard for you to stay on track with your diet, right? When you reflect on that and think about it, then you are able to identify specific things that are contributing to it being hard for you to do. Things like not following up, unclear, unrealistic goals, saying F it, like forget it, or quitting, giving up, and then starting like next Monday or next month or on January 1st, right? Not having enough time to prep meals or sit down to eat, not knowing what, not knowing how to eat satisfying foods in a calorie deficit. These are some of the top reasons that I've experienced working with people in trying to help them eat healthier. That's what makes a calorie deficit difficult. Really planning and making sure you have plans that reflect the life that you want. So if you're having a hard time being in practice, then you want to look at your plan, and that's focusing on the right things. One thing for a lot of people, pretty much a lot of people you see online, most people are lacking in nutrition education, right? So you want to focus on learning what healthy eating is, what that means. You can get public health guidance. You can talk with me about it. You can read more. There are some mixed opinions online, but there are best practices that are built for a majority of people. But if you don't have that foundation, then you're going to have a hard time understanding what healthy eating is. And you might end up thinking like, I'll just cut out all sugar and skip breakfast and lunch and eat less. And that's not healthy eating. So you want to focus on the right things in order to get the results that you want when it comes to your eating and health. Another thing to point out here is you don't have to count calories to lose weight. A lot of people online think that this is a problem to say, but this is just the facts. You don't have to know what a calorie is to lose weight. You don't have to count them. You don't have to do math, all that stuff. What you want to do is be in a calorie deficit. So if you're having a hard time being in a calorie deficit, then you want to learn more about what healthy eating is. And then you can learn a little bit about calories and you can track them. You really want to just be aware of foods that have a lot of calories, and then aware of the foods that have fewer calories per volume, right? But that's a whole different topic. I'll cover a little bit more in a little bit. So make sure your weight loss goals, rate of change goals, and calorie targets are realistic. That's going to be a big factor for you as well. So when you're talking about your weight loss goals, if you want to lose like 50 pounds, you want to know that that's a healthy weight for your body to be at. Don't just compare yourself to you when you were 15 and think that like that's supposed to be your body weight. So weight loss goal has to be realistic. Your rate of change, usually you want to aim for about a pound of weight change per week. as kind of a baseline. Many people think they can just lose weight faster than that for any number of reasons, and that can be an unrealistic rate of change goal. That's going to be hard. That's like making it harder to stay in your calorie deficit because your calorie deficit is unrealistic in the first place. And then calorie targets. So if you are trying to lose weight too fast, then your calorie target might be too big of a difference from like what you were eating before. So making sure these things are realistic are a big part of the focus that we talk about the live aligned method. So then it's easier to stay in practice, right? If you have realistic goals, then it's easier to follow through with what's going on with your intentions. If you have unrealistic goals, that's going to be really difficult for you to keep, right? In the big picture here, we want to look at your vision. Think about why you want to eat in a calorie deficit. It's not likely that you woke up and you're just like, I want to be in a calorie deficit, right? So take a moment to think about why you chose that. A lot of times people have decided that that's being in a calorie deficit is the way to lose weight. And that is, one-to-one thermodynamics. However, the realistic part they were talking about a moment ago, or knowing why they want to lose weight in the first place, knowing their motivations, what's triggering that, what kind of satisfaction they'll be expecting from that, all that will determine whether they actually follow through. And if they don't, they're more likely to say forget it or run into some of those other obstacles because they don't have clear context for it. They don't understand how it's going to make their life better. You just have concluded that calorie deficit is the way to go, right? And then that, like, what does that do for you? What does weight loss do for you? How does it support your life? And the question that I come back to, what does the healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams look like? You might be imagining that losing weight will make you happier or more confident or feel more attractive or be more accepted or acceptable, all that stuff. And you've decided that a calorie deficit is the key to doing all of that, but that can make things really difficult for you. And that might not be true in the one-to-one sense that you're hoping. So then what happens? People will not get in that calorie deficit and then wonder what's wrong with them, or if they're always going to be unacceptable and unlovable and too fat and like all these other things, when there are other steps that you have to consider in order to make this realistic for you and sustainable so you can actually stay in the calorie deficit instead of just like jumping to how do you guys do it? I don't know what's wrong with me. All right. So those are some things to consider: the vision, focus, and practice. Looking more closely at what makes staying in a calorie deficit so hard for you specifically. If it's one of these things, you can address it with clear goals and understanding what the healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams looks like. And it doesn't have to be tracking calories to be in a calorie deficit. You can do it by eating more fiber. So I've covered that in another video on this channel. I'll put that in the link below. And then next, oh, don't forget, I've got the health habit scorecard so you can get personalized tips for your next step. That's below. And then you can watch warning, are you about to start a low calorie diet? If you are set on counting, tracking your calories, then this is probably the best way to figure out a personalized goal for you. So you start off on the right foot. I'll put that video right here. So that's today's message. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, keep practicing. Peace.